Tell us about your educational system. How is it that you're getting this great competency?
I was speaking out at Berry College yesterday and we were talking about this. And one of the factors for us is that perhaps Ireland doesn't have huge quantities of natural resources like oil and gas. And the government has always considered, I guess, people to be our natural resources. And that might sound a little bit trite, but it is true when you see how governments have really prioritised the educational sector. And through the years, the different developments in terms of free primary school education, free high school education, and then free university education, which was introduced in Ireland in the 1990s, has led to more Irish graduates than there are graduates in other EU member states. And we've put a high priority on excellence in our university system. And we have a number of universities which rank in the top 200 in the world. So we've got, for a country of 4.5 million people, we certainly, I think, punch above our weight by those measures. And it's a sector that we've really prioritised for a long number of years.
How did you hear about it? I mean, had you had any exposure to Atlanta before? Or
well, personally, my wife is American and she has family living in Tennessee now. So I certainly knew Atlanta as a city to fly into and to go visiting relatives who are pretty close. But for us as a country, this mission originated with a new US-Ireland strategy, which we developed in 2008 and 2009. And a large focus in that was on our footprint and the fact that our bases, as they were up to that point, were in traditional Irish centres here in the US. They were in places like New York, Boston, Chicago, San Francisco. But increasingly, we see a lot of that Irish community is coming down to the southeast as much of the US moves down south. And so we have huge communities of Irish here. As you know, we've a very active Irish Chamber of Commerce here, Irish Gaelic clubs, Hibernian clubs. So it's a very increasingly strong city for the Irish here in the south, and a great and very exciting place to be based as a result.
Is there a possibility that our local universities in the southeast can strengthen ties with Irish universities?
Yeah, that's one of the key things we're here to do and to help in. But we're not starting from ground zero in any sense. Georgia Tech here has had an office in Ireland since 2006. I think it was the first applied science facility Georgia Tech set up outside the US was in Ireland. And they have now progressed that into a formalised relationship with our universities in Galway and Limerick, and are doing great work in areas like e-health, cybersecurity, and a number of other areas. So we're delighted to be able to work with a university like Georgia Tech that has such wonderful experience at commercialising its research and has such a great reputation internationally. But also Emory University here in Atlanta is a brilliant Irish studies programme directed by Geraldine Higgins. It's got a Yates Foundation run by Dr. Jim Flannery and remarkable Irish literary archives. All the original papers of W.B. Yeats and Seamus Heaney has donated papers to Emory. So there's great links there already, and we're just keen to develop those and branch them into new areas wherever we can.
Have you been involved with the Emory Papers at all?
I've had an opportunity to have a look at them there. They're really wonderful, and we've an exhibition actually on the life and works of William Butler Yeats at Emory at the moment. So it's a great, they've wonderful archives there. It's a great resource to have, and it's an obvious point, I think, for Irish visitors in the region to come to Emory. We're also having next month the launch of the letters of Samuel Beckett, the second volume of those at Emory University on Friday, October 21st. So there's an awful lot happening culturally here with the Irish as well. And that's a big thing for us, to grow Irish culture in the southeast as well, and to do what we can to promote and develop that. We've a big programme this year called Imagine Ireland, under which the Irish government is supporting 400 events in North America featuring Irish performers, artists or musicians. So some of those have been here in the southeast, and we're keen to promote those however we can, because our artists, performers, singers, dancers are some of the greatest ambassadors we have in Ireland.
Do you have other trade missions coming, scheduled?
We don't have any scheduled at the moment, but I know that follow-up to what we have been undertaking in the last week in Atlanta, Charlotte, Miami rally is going to be a key factor for us now. And I think there will be small pockets of companies coming out and a renewed focus on those areas. We labelled this trade mission Breaking New Ground. It was the first ever Government of Ireland trade mission to this region. So I think we have broken that ground now. I think we've made some of those connections. And I think we'll be focusing even more on the region now over the period ahead. Certainly our ambassador from Washington will be down in Charlotte before the end of the year, and we're going to have a number of other visits, hopefully leading up to another busy St. Patrick's Day season then next March.